They were good. They were good in the beginning of the year. I was thinking they were a sneaky team. But let's look at this. Okay, so week 11 was the final week that they actually did something good. Because let's look at their record before that. 2-2. Let's see. Okay, they were 6-3 through the first 10 weeks, and then gave the Chiefs trouble. They only lost 35-31. So they were 6-4, and one of those losses was close one of the Chiefs. So they were playing well, and then look at the final weeks: blowout to the Falcons, beat the Jets by a Hail Mary, got crushed by the Colts, lost to the Chargers, lost to Miami, and then barely squeaked by the Broncos. So they were good at the beginning of the year, but they blew it at the end. So I think that's a loss too. The Chiefs in week 1 in Kansas City, Andy Reid is great off a bye, and even though it's not a bye week, when Andy Reid gets a break, he's one of the best coaches ever. And also, the Chiefs are pissed right now because they just got humiliated in the Super Bowl. So, although it takes a lot of explaining to do, there's a possibility they go 9-8 if you put it in these exact, and like some of them, you have to put them in like week 4 or something in order for them to lose. Which obviously they're not just going to rig it for the Browns to do poorly, or at least they shouldn't. All right, so that took a lot of explaining to do. And I still think they're going to go like 10-7, 11-6. I mean, I don't think that's how it's going to go. All right, so the Lakers are 6-4 in their last 10. They beat the Hornets last night, obviously without LaMelo Ball, so they're pretty weak and vulnerable. But the Lakers are actually this roster is great, honestly. Dennis Schroeder and Andre Drummond, without LeBron and AD, are doing very well. They're doing exceptional right now. Well, especially without LeBron and AD. And they're holding on to the best defensive rating in the NBA without AD, who is one of the best defenders in the league, and LeBron, who is playing one of his best defense in years this year. Best defense since, I think, the title run. The title run was the last time he kind of played defense because, or at least he looked like he was playing defense because, I mean, that 2017 Warriors team was just so good offensively, it looked like he wasn't even trying. And then 2018, he was just trying to put points on the board because that Cavs team was just rough. And then 2019, that was a rough year for him. And then last year, he did pretty good on defense. But this is the best defense in years. So the fact that they're sticking to the, top defensive rating, without those two guys, I think that's incredible. And this is why you be patient with their coming back, because if you can hold on a bit here with this roster, so why rush them back? What's the rush here? All right. Let's get some music going here. And honestly, if they keep like winning, when's AD coming back? I don't know. How long does he have? It said 12 to... Well, how long has it been since I said 12 to 14 days? AD, okay, 10 to 14 days. That was 3 days ago. So it's probably like 7 to 11 days. Alright, so 7 to 11 days. How many games? So let's say he comes back in 9 days. Let's go in the middle. So today is April 14th. 9 days would be April 23rd. How many games do they have until April 23rd? They have 1, 2, 3. They have 4 games until April 23rd. Let's go by this. They split those games 2-2. They're 36-23. 36-23. They would be 4th, 5th in the West still. They got AD coming back. That will hold them to a few wins. And then LeBron will come back in about 2.5 weeks. 2.5 weeks from now is, the 21st? Probably like the 24th, 25th, around there. Probably the 25th. So they would have one game with just AD, and then get LeBron back. So, they're in a good spot right now. If they win that one game with AD, even if they lose it, they're in a good spot by getting if they don't get them back by the end of April, they got a problem. That's for sure. All right, let's get music going here. So, my intuition was correct yesterday. The Browns are bringing in Jadeveon Clowney on a 1-year deal. And we shouldn't expect Jadeveon Clowney to be what he was expected to be, which was, like, one of the best pass rushers ever. Good at some moments. Let's not expect him to be something amazing. Like playoff Rondo. He's called playoff Rondo for a reason. He's good in the playoffs. He's not good in the regular season. You're not going to get him... he's not going to... even in the playoffs, he's not going to drop, 20 a night. He's going to give you a lot of... He's going to give you, 12 assists, but not 10 a night. He was in the MVP conversation once, and he averaged 12 points and 12 assists. It's value, but only in the playoffs. He's a lot like Julian Edelman. He makes sacrifices for great teams. Like the Celtics and Lakers, He's not going to be in there in every season, but in the finals, he was great. One of the best pieces. Well, they would not have won a ring without him. I don't think so. But let's not expect Jadeveon Clowney to be anything big. But honestly, Clowney and Myles Garrett, that's going to be a scary combo. So congrats to the Browns. I think they're a great team right now. Honestly, what might hold the Browns back is Baker Mayfield. Think about this. They have a top 15 running back in Kareem Hunt. A top 7 running back in Nick Chubb. A great receiving duo in Landry and Beckham Jr. A top 5 O-line. And one of the better defenses in the NFL. So Baker Mayfield, I like him. I don't want to hate on him, but he might be holding them back. That's how good their team is. Or he might hold them back. He's not holding them back. He might hold them back this season. Especially since they have Kevin Stefanski, probably a top 7 coach right now. Alright, so... I think they're a great team. I think they're 11-6. I really do. And I said a couple years ago, when they were starting to build up their team, I said, and the problem was their coach. They didn't get the coach right, but... How about this? I said in 2018-2019 season, this is what I said. The Browns will be good in 3 to 4 years. So 2022 season's coming up. I wish I did. This would be a complete ripoff of Colin Cowherd, but if I did a Dylan Right, Dylan Wrong thing, this would be a great Dylan Right segment. Alright, so an anonymous GM who left his name out of it, he said he's confident that Mac Jones will go to the Niners. Now, we don't really. There's no pick that is for sure. There's no sure thing in this draft except for Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence at number 1. That's a sure thing. If that doesn't happen, it's something I don't know what they were thinking, but we don't know if Mac Jones is going to get taken. We don't even know if Zach Wilson is going to get taken by the Jets. But, and all these guys have their thing. Trevor Lawrence is a prodigy. He can do just everything. Justin Fields doesn't look like a quarterback. He's an athlete at quarterback, Trey Lance is a big arm. Zach Wilson is kind of a Rogers Favre conversation here. Mac Jones is incredibly accurate, you know. But I just don't get it with Alabama quarterbacks, you know. And he wasn't. It's so weird because, you know, I think Mac Jones. I have a stat coming up. I'm going to talk about it. I'm kind of understanding more why Kyle Shanahan likes him, but I don't understand why you would take him at 3. I think that's a bit of a waste. Like, you can take him at 12, just not 3. I think that's a little crazy. But, you know, and it's so weird because he wasn't. Normally, after, like, where they are after the season ends is where they are the rest of the way until the draft. Mac Jones was a top, maybe a second rounder, I think people were saying. You know? And now, after the season, he was a second rounder, possibly. And now, no games have been played. No games have been played. That's what I found so funny about this. No games have been played. And he's all of a sudden went from, a possible second rounder to the third pick overall. I don't really get that. But, I have a stat. And that's gonna... It made me understand. Because I finally put my ego aside. I said, stop trying to be right. Let's see. Kyle Shanahan clearly sees something in this guy. He's a smart guy. I've said this before. He's a smart guy. He probably knows what he's doing. Let's try to find something here. Why? What does he see in him? And I found it. I got it. Alright. So LeSean McCoy says Julian Edelman is not a Hall of Famer, but he thinks he is. And I said this, he's not going to be a Hall of Famer. Because if Hines Ward is not in the Hall of Fame, Julian Edelman isn't. Because you got to think of the standard. The standard is, I don't know what the standard is, but if Hines Ward does not meet the standard, then Julian Edelman doesn't. But by my standards, Julian Edelman would get my MVP vote. Or no, sorry, my Hall of Fame vote. You know, he would. Because of how he really sacrificed himself in big games. And he did a great job. Second most receiving yards and receptions in the postseason. You know, he did a great job when it mattered most. That gets my MVP vote. But it's not going to get everyone else's. So, not a Hall of Famer. Let's look at what Sean McCoy's done. What has he done? 6 Pro Bowls, 2 first team All-Pro, 15,000 scrimmage yards, 88 scrimmage yards per game, 89 total touchdowns. Edelman has 0 Pro Bowls, 0 All-Pros, 7,235 scrimmage yards, 53 scrimmage yards a game, and 41 touchdowns. So those are the stats for them. McCoy, he has a great resume. I like his resume, but I don't know. That would make a good conversation. Is McCoy a Hall of Famer? I don't know, but that will be a good conversation for another day. All right. So, all right. I'm almost done with this podcast. Almost. Got a couple more topics left. All right. So Jones is locked in at number 3. Apparently, it seems like he's gonna be the third pick. Maybe Justin Fields, maybe Trey Lance are gonna check him out, but they don't know. It seems like Jones is their guy. So I saw a stat today. And, you know, I said this yesterday. Matt LaFleur did not told Aaron Rodgers before this year. Because I think last year was kind of LaFleur kind of observing, kind of seeing, where things are, kind of feeling it out. It's kind of a feel-out year for him, I think. And this year he said, all right, here's what's wrong, Aaron. It's you, actually. It's not the team. It's you. Because you are... Because think about this. Peyton Manning, he audibled his way out of chaos. Whenever... Because Adam Gase was the offensive coordinator. I can't blame him. I really can't blame him for doing that. When his offensive coordinator was Adam Gase. But, you know, he audibled his way out of chaos. And Rodgers...